Hello, welcome to the A to Z YouTube channel. My name is Toby Allen. I am the producer and engineer for A to Z Studios, and today we're going to be looking at the brand new amp sim from ML Sound Lab, Amped Volcano. Pretty much ever since ML Sound Lab first started making amp sims back in 2020, I've been really keen to hear their take on a Soldano based amp sim, and so really excited to try this one out. Now what's really exciting is that there's actually two amps included with this one. Not only the Soldano SLO-100, an absolute iconic classic amp, but also the more recent Astro as well. There's 3 channels on the SLO-100 and there's 4 channels on the Astro. I'm going to go through all of those channels in a second, but also what's very exciting as well is that there's a brand new engine on here. So to begin with, when ML Sound Lab first started making their amp sims, there was the first generation engine, then later on came Warner, which was the second generation engine, and now what we have here, which appears to be the 3rd generation engine, and has been created in collaboration with Steve Ack, well known for a neural amp modeler, and so they've made a brand new engine between Mikko and Steve, which makes the amp sim sound even more like a real amp, which is really cool. So let's run through the channels and hear how they sound.
ML Sound Lab did very kindly give me a copy of this amp sim to be able to show to all of our viewers and to demonstrate how that works. I am an ML Sound Lab artist and I am on their beta team. However, they didn't tell me what to say, didn't pay me to make this video, and all thoughts and opinions are my own.
So we're using my Solar GC1.6C, which has 24 volt EMG 81 and 85, and that's what we're going to be using for tones. So first off, we're going to look at what's called Volcano Clean. So that is essentially the SLO-100 clean channel, and that sounds like this. I'm going to change over to one of the presets. If you like clean tones, if you're a peasant, then fantastic. Next channel is the Volcano Crunch. Sounds like this. If you like crunch tones, amazing, sounds great. I would probably use this for kind of some certain punk kind of sounds, maybe like a octaves for like a kind of lead over overtone kind of thing, and we'll go over to the Volcano Overdrive, which is the main reason why we would use a Soldano. Let's go with old but new. That sounds pretty gainy. So let's have a look at what's on the pedal board. There's actually nothing happening on there except the noise gate. So let's try with a little bit of drive. Classic kind of tube screamer settings. So we'll stick to this camera then, because the other camera stopped working. Yeah, so that's quite a nice kind of gainy kind of tone. Not like super high gain, not like extreme, but we'll get to that. So let's move over. Let's turn the drive off and turn the pedal board off, and we'll go over to the Asteroid Green channel. So this is the Astro. And there's let's have a look at the Space Exploration Spa preset, which sounds like this. Very, very sparkly and clean. Let's move over to Asteroid Blue. So we've got kind of a plexi kind of sound. Yeah, quite a low gain, kind of crunch kind of sound. Let's just whack the gain up a little bit, and we'll put some more kind of TS kind of settings on here again. Sounds cool. I think again it's going to sound good better for rock or punk than it is for metal. Let's move on to Asteroid Purple, which is a little bit more gainy. So let's go with British. Oh, hang on, no, there's this preset here.
Tight, yeah!
Yeah, get a bit more gainy, and we've got the drive on there. Let's just give it a little bit more welly. And then lastly, let's check out Asteroid Red, which is my personal favourite. And we've got a little preset here I've made called This is a Tribute, because this isn't the greatest guitar tone in the world, this is just a tribute. that is what I'm talking about. That is a very, I think that's possibly the best guitar tone I've managed to coax out of an amp sim, so I'm very happy with how that one sounds. So you've got a good idea of what all the different channels of the different amps on there sound like. We've also dabbled slightly with the pedal board. Pedal board's the same as far as I can tell as all the previous ML SoundLab amp sims. You've got your noise gate, compressor, drive, chorus delay and reverb. I find that the noise gate is working a little bit better for me on this than it has on some of the previous amp sims, which is good. I don't know whether it's been tweaked or not, or whether, I don't know. So you see what the answer to that. If we move over to the cab, as always, you've got the 3D cab section, so you can drag the microphones around, you can move them forwards and backwards. You can also use a scroll wheel to change the angle on there as well. So you've got a good selection of positions. You've also got a good selection of microphones. You've also got 3 different cabs to choose from. So you've got the Mars Mofo, which is my favorite, the Marshall Mode 4 V30 MF speakers. I've got a couple of those in real life and they sound, so I tend to go with that quite often. Then the Mega Green is a Mesa Boogie with greenbacks, and the Mega OS is a Mesa Boogie oversized, presumably with V30s. So that's the other options you've got on there. You've also got MIDI control as well, which is not something I really mess with because I don't really mess with MIDI and amp sims. And that is pretty much it. I think I say this every time ML SoundLab bring out a new amp sim that does high gain, but this is my new favourite amp sim from ML SoundLab. It's got a really good range of different sounds, which is really good. It's got some very good cleans, if you like cleans, and some good crunch, and some very, very tasty high gain. There's just something about the way that it reacts when you're playing the harmonics and the sag, which you don't get in most amp sims, and it just adds an extra level of realism and tastiness when you're wanting to play through them. So yes, big fan. So thank you very much for watching. If you like what you've seen, give us a thumb, give us a subscribe, and we shall see you next time.
Something wrong with you and I when we're crying for our next fix. Something wrong with you, there's nothing wrong with me, there's something wrong with you.